What's going on, guys? I'm back with another video, and today we're diving deep into the story of Top Boy, obviously specifically the last season. I just started watching the show a couple of weeks ago, so I'm not a long-time fan of the show, but I do have a lot of appreciation for it. One of my favorite seasons is when Jamie was introduced along with his brothers, and I personally feel like it was one of the best seasons because afterwards I feel like they got rid of the character because of maybe his potential outshining of Deshane and Sully. I feel like last season in particular was rushed and just overall badly written. Season 3, or technically season 5, counting the 2 seasons in Summer House, was only 6 episodes long. The season before had 8 episodes and the one before that one had only 10. So season 3, or season 5, follows right after the previous season following the death of Jamie, and which I still can't fully wrap my head around. You even had fans still speculating he could be alive, and I definitely would have thought the same thing if Sully didn't shoot him in the head. Also, we do realize Sully really had no reason even to do that, right? Like, he definitely felt like he couldn't trust Jamie, but you can use the same argument for everyone else around him. And this brings me to my next topic, the character Jack. The rise of this show did her so dirty because what she did just felt like filler or something, like just trying to keep the story going. They could have honestly saved an episode or 2 without this unnecessary storyline added. So you're telling me after all that time Jack has been dealing, killing, and recruiting young kids to sell drugs that she finally feels guilty after her sister died? Like, this can't be serious. She literally knew she was the reason that the character Atz got into drug dealing in the first place, which eventually got him killed, and even looked his mother in the eye and said she doesn't know what happened to him, but now that the drug problem hit too close to home, you want to be the change now. So in retaliation, she decides to steal Sully and Deshane's 25 kilos and basically go on the run while putting herself, Kieran, and her girlfriend and the baby all in danger just because she wants to be Malcolm X or something. All she had to do was walk away like her girlfriend suggested, because no matter if she stole the drugs or not, the business is never going to stop. And this is why I'm calling out the bad writing, just because, like, out of all the seasons, just including really just with Jack, right? Do you think that she's really that dense to not know, to not do this in the first place? I just don't believe she's really just that dense. And let's talk about Kieran's death, because Sully really pissed me off in this scene. This dude goes on and on about how lying to him is the worst thing, and in result that he can't trust you, he'll most likely kill you. But wasn't he the same guy who lied to Driss' baby mother's face that he didn't kill Driss? Like, he deadass shot him over 20 times and had a nerve to talk about, like, oh, I don't know what happened to him, but here's some money on the side for him dying. Now, throughout this season, we get peeks into Stefan's life without Jamie and pretty much without Aaron too, but I heard the actor for Aaron was pursuing other career paths, so that could be why he never appeared. But I did like seeing Stefan go through life pretty much on his own, making his own decisions, and we'll talk about more about that in the end. Also, quick side note, I did love seeing almost like the glimpses of Jamie within this character, even in this scene or the scene when he gets the gun and all that sort of stuff. Now this next portion is going to tie into more into Deshane and Sully. So Deshane's on the run now for the murder of Jeffrey in hopes to get his money that was stolen from Lizzie and the woman behind the counter, who are the real winners of the show, to be honest. Deshane killing Jeffrey had to be another bad choice by the writers because it just made no sense to me. We get that he has anger issues or underlying heart problems on top of that, but for him to snap that bad to the point where he's hitting his lifeless body with a pan, it's just insane. And Jeffrey was one of the chances that he could ever see that money again, and now he ruined it all by taking that anger out of him. And when Deshane was the one to cut out Lizzie out of the deal with the Moroccans and then type his money with the Summer House developments, I just feel like every decision made was just to get to the point of Deshane and Sully's final moments together. So while Jack finally stopped the BS and decided to get the drugs back, Deshane needed a way to dodge the feds, but he had no money to do so. But through his Saul Goodman of a lawyer, he had a guy who can get him out of the country, so he decided to steal the drugs off of Jack, resulting in Sully chasing after him for mad long and finally getting to him. But I also want to point out that it's actually sad that 2 guys got sent to pick up Deshane and got killed by Sully, and they both had automatic guns. This man Sully is not John Wick, stop it. The final moments between Deshane and Sully was pretty heartfelt, but also kind of like dumb dialogue at the same time. Their relationship was always tough love type of thing, which you can never really tell they actually even care for one another unless they were in danger or anything. But after all that, Sully talks to his daughter in the park for the last time, and while on the way to his car, Stefan confronts him at gunpoint, and at this point I am conflicted because if Steph does this, he could fall into his brother's footsteps, or he can choose to go another way. Obviously he chose the latter, but he didn't even get the reaction he wanted out of Sully. Sully Wick, I mean. He was completely emotionless while staring at Steph. Even he told him fear left him a long time ago and basically told him to do what you gotta do. Just something about this scene just felt, kind of mediocre, at least in Steph's perspective. Shortly after, Sully gets in the car and someone shoots him in the head and runs, and it's kind of the end of the series. Now, I've seen online speculation to who shot him and a lot of people leaning towards Jack, but number one, if you see the frame where the person is running, it looks nothing like her. And then number two, what would be Jack's motive? I guess with the drugs and whatever, but how would she even know he was there? I see people say it's someone from the Irish family that could have got revenge, and that seems to be the more believable, at least to me, because they already said in the show that the Irish got connections all over, and I'm assuming they aren't going to just let what Sully did slide. So overall, what did we get in the last episode of a series that's been going on for years? A delusional drug dealer now realizing the consequences of drug dealing, two grown men nearing the age of 40 having petty fights over who runs the business, and they both suffer the consequences of bad writing and poor decision making. Deshane told Sully Wick that Jamie could be the retirement plan, which made total sense, and it could have been a better ending to a story that has two guys finally making out after all the BS they went through, and Jamie possibly either dying or facing the consequences of being the top boy now. This ending just kind of left me bittersweet or unsatisfied. At least watching Snowfall, I eventually accepted the ending, even though with the problems in that show. But in this one, it's just not my cup of tea. And speaking of tea, they didn't even drink that much in the season. But overall, there was so many plot holes that are just enormous. What happened to the two detectives that were posing as drug addicts? And then the Irish family should have been a bigger story, at least to me. Lizzie even mentioned how she was Irish and they could have tied her into that as well. But with 6 episodes, I guess not. At least show me what happened to Lizzie after she got away with all that money or something. On a brighter note, I always did love Top Boy cinematography, and if you remember the beach scene that had Sully in it after his best friend died in the fire, I love the camera technique they pulled off to use it, and it really captured a lot of emotion to me. I wish they did a lot more of that, honestly, but they did what they did. Anyways, before I get more upset, I'm gonna end the video here, and I want to hear from you guys, especially if anyone's watching from the UK. What did you feel about the ending, especially when Jamie died or when Jack did what she did? But let me know down in the comments and drop a sub and a like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.